In some ways, GW2 Twitch is just like all the other MMOs. You're in a big, beautiful fantasy world. You fight monsters with your skills and you gain XP to level up. However, there are also some pretty important differences. Things that can be easy to miss, even if you're already an experienced MMO player. So today, I figured it would be fun to put together the ultimate list of tips and tricks for beginners. 20 tips that every new player must know. That is quite a lot of tips, so we'll go through them pretty fast. This video will give you a fantastic head start for your adventures in Tyria. Let's get started. Right click stuff. You can change your equipped skills anytime you're out of combat by clicking on these little arrows. However, those can be a little bit annoying to click. What is this? A button for ants? What a lot of people don't know is that instead, you can just right click on the skill icon. This goes for other elements in the game too. You can right click the mount button to swap your mount, or right click the weapon swap button to change your build template and loadouts. You can even right click most chests above your minimap to open them instantly. There are other useful tricks like this too. You can, for example, double click a waypoint to travel there instantly while skipping the confirm dialogue. For mounts, I like to set a different keybind on my keypad for each of them. This lets me super easily switch to the mount I want without having to go through the mount lists. Do not be afraid to ask. In my experience, GW2 Twitch players are very friendly and always happy to help. We love helping out new players. Maybe even a little bit too much. Do you need help? I will show up with my OP build and kill those level 5 enemies for you. No, but seriously, if you ever have any questions, don't be afraid to just ask people in map chats. You can also ask me questions about the game on my stream. And even if I don't know the answer, somebody in the chat probably will. Respawn quickly. When you go downstate in GW2 Twitch, other players can walk up to you and res you. However, if your downed HP bar runs out fully, you will be defeated. Defeated players can still be rest, but it takes a lot longer. Like I said before, the GW2 Twitch community is really friendly. So if you're defeated in the middle of a big boss fight, it's pretty likely that somebody super nice will attempt to res you. However, this is not always a good idea. It takes a really long time, and it can be pretty spicy to do this when there's a boss trying to murder you. And while you're resing, you also cannot deal any damage. So if you die fully in the middle of a meta event or world boss, it's usually faster to just respawn at a waypoint and run back. This does take a little bit of time, but if everybody does this, it makes bosses a lot easier. Inventory management. Something that you will notice very quickly is that inventory management is kind of important in GW2 Twitch. My inventory is always a complete disaster, and it's not that I don't know how to fix it, I'm just lazy. Don't be like me. Here are a couple of rapid fire inventory tips that will make your life a lot easier. Things that I really should just listen to myself. You can press this little deposit button to magically deposit any materials into your material storage. You can do this from anywhere in the world. You can also go to a vendor and press the sell junk button. This will easily sell junk items that cannot be used for anything else. When you have gear that you don't want to use, salvage kits are your friends. Just click your salvage kit and then click a piece of gear to break it down into crafting materials. You can then deposit those into your material storage. You can also right-click your salvage kit to salvage all pieces from a certain rarity. Oh gosh, this is such a lifesaver. I don't know how we used to play the game without this. When you have a stack of unidentified gear, you can also right-click it to use all. Identifying gear is pretty good to do, because there's a chance that your green piece of unidentified gear is actually even better than just green gear. A pretty effective cleaning routine is to first identify all your unidentified gear, then salvage all with your salvage kit, and then deposit all the materials into your mat storage. You can do this from anywhere as long as you have a salvage kit, and bam! Loads of materials and loads of free space. However, my favorite trick for inventory management is to just make my inventory bigger, because then I can put off the inventory cleaning even longer and procrastinate until the issue becomes bigger and bigger, just like in real life. You can make your inventory bigger with additional bags, which you can get from lots of different places. An easy source of 20 slot bags is to play Living World Season 1 episodes, which give you 1 bag per episode, but you can also cheaply buy them on the trading post. Use the trading post. Gold is everything in Guild Wars 2, and mastering the trading post is essential in making goals. You can open the trading post to sell or buy items from anywhere in the world. Just to actually get your items or gold, you have to visit a trading post NPC to pick it up. The trading post is a great way to get some cheap early bags or even very strong equipment. In my gear guides video, I talk about some special named exotic armor sets, which have really good stats and are also really cheap. Go check out that video if you want to know more. The trading post will be your primary method of making goals. Usually, items will sell for a lot more on the trading post compared to selling it to a vendor. If you have been depositing materials into your material storage, don't forget that you can sell those too. It is very common for players to be sitting on hundreds of goals of materials. On GW2efficiency.com, you can actually see the full gold value of your material storage. And wow, that is not bad. Do not sleep on the trading post. I mean it. If you want an even better deal and are okay waiting a bit, you can also choose not to insta-sell or insta-buy, but instead put up a sell listing or a buy order. It can take a while for these to fill, but doing this can really add up, especially for expensive items. Character model settings. Guild Wars 2 is a pretty old game now, so you don't need a super OP PC to be able to play. However, when there's a large army of players on the screen, even the best PCs out there start struggling. I love getting 20 FPS on my brand new PC. Fortunately, there is a setting that can make these large battles run a lot better. I highly recommend setting character model limit and character model quality to low. This will lower the amount of characters the game shows you on the screen, and it will also lower the amount of them that's loaded in with full detail. This helps a lot when you're fighting a big world boss, and you will still see everybody's nameplates. It is a bit sad that you won't be able to see everybody's fashion, but it's kinda hard to see that anyway when there's 90 people hitting a world boss. Definitely try putting this on low, it is a total game changer. Use the Wiki. The Guild Wars 2 Wiki is an incredible resource. It's probably one of the best gaming wikis out there, or even just one of the best wikis out there. It's got info on items, classes, skills, achievements, pretty much anything in the game. You can even search the wiki directly from in-game by typing /wiki in the chat and then what you are searching for. You can even type /wiki, a space, and then link an item by shift-clicking it. This will directly search for that item. Neat. Reinforce your armor. When you are in a city or town, you can look for this icon to find a reinforcement anvil or NPC. These can give you a reinforced buff for free, which will boost your vitality and defense by 5% for 12 hours of playtime. This is super worth doing, especially if you're playing a build that is a little bit squishy. Looking at you, elementalists. In the past, these anvils and NPCs actually repaired your gear, but the developers got rid of that system a couple years ago. And since then, you get this reinforced buff instead. Don't worry about character choices. In my experience, new players tend to get pretty stressed out about their character choices. What class do I pick? And which things do I train? What if I pick the wrong stuff? Well, fortunately, by the time you're max level, you can easily train everything in your core class, and you can easily change your builds whenever you're out of combat. Your race and class choices are permanent, but Guild Wars 2 is a really alt-friendly game. A lot of game progression is account-wise, and leveling up alt characters gets really fast after a while. So if you want to try out a different class or race, just go for it. No progress is ever wasted, and you don't have to redo the story on every character. If you need some help with your class choice, I do have a pretty cool video on my channel where I talk about every class and their elite specializations. Go check that out. Try classes in PvP. Speaking of class choice, in PvP every player gets leveled up to max level with all the traits and skills unlocked. So if you want to try out a class without leveling it, you can just try it out in PvP. If you don't want to fight full players, you can make your way to these golems in the PvP lobby and just try out what your class is like at max level. I do think that this can be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're new to the game. But if this is not an issue for you, you can totally get a sense of what your character's like at max level. Preview all the skins. Everybody knows that the true endgame of MMOs is fashion. There are a ton of gorgeous looking skins in Guild 2, and finding the perfect combination can be pretty challenging. Here is a great tip for putting together awesome fashion. When you go to any bank in Guild 2, you can also switch over to the wardrobe storage. This screen will show you all the skins currently in the game, and you can click on them to preview them. You can look at armor skins, weapon skins, outfits. For a lot of these skins, mousing over them will even tell you how to get them. When I put together fashion, this screen is always where I start. And then, when I've put something together, I go hunt for those specific skins. And of course, the Wiki is a great resource to help you with that. Somehow, I always end up picking skins that are kinda hard to get. Apparently my taste is very expensive. Double tap to evade. By default, when you double tap in any direction, your character will dodge in that direction. When I first tried the game, I thought this was pretty cool, until I tried a jumping puzzle. I spent like an hour climbing this jumping puzzle, doing tough jumps, dodging the traps, rezzing my friends. And then, when I almost got to the end, I accidentally double tapped W and I dodged off the platform. That's when I disabled double tap to evade. I just press V to dodge now. I know this is pretty subjective, but I think that it's at least good to know that you can turn this off. Ground targeting mode. Another kinda subjective setting is your ground targeting mode. By default, when you press an AoE skill, you get this little AoE indicator. You then aim where you want it, and then you click again to place it. This can be a little slow, so personally, I like the fast with range indicator setting. This is similar to the default, except you will see the AoE indicator while you're holding down the button, and it's placed when you let go of the button. You do not need to click a second time. If you want to go real tryhard, you can even set it to instant. Then the AoE just casts immediately and you will never even see the indicator. I kinda like being able to see the indicator, but instant can definitely be nice for those super fast reaction times. Level wherever. One question that I get asked a lot is whether you should 100% each map before moving on. The answer is really that it's kinda up to you. Guild 2 has level scaling. While you don't usually get skilled up, you do get skilled down when you're in a lower level zone. Fortunately, you still gain decent XP, even when you're in a zone that's lower level than you. So the answer is really that you can level up wherever you want. You can stay in the starter zone forever, or you can jump straight to higher level maps. When you start the game, you actually automatically unlock a waypoint in every single starter zone. So, if your friend is playing a different playable race than you, or you're just curious what the other starter zones are like, you can just teleport to them right from the start of the game. Story is optional. Kind of. At any point, you can see your current story in the top right of your screen. Doing your story is pretty worth it. You get pretty okay XP, sometimes decent equipment, and a couple of game features are also locked behind story. For example, you can only unlock the Griffin after you complete the Path of Fire story. But if story is just not really your thing, it is good to know that you can totally jump ahead to later chapters. You can totally start the first expansion without ever finishing the base story, or you can jump straight ahead to the newest expansion and go hang out with the bears. I actually have a friend who has full legendary gear, but has never finished the base story. You can totally just do that. It's all up to you. Gear stats. Like in most other RPGs, every piece of equipment in Guild 2 has stats. There are stats like power, condition damage, healing power. The stats of your equipment have a huge impact on your builds. A lot of new players get their hands on a new shiny piece of exotic equipment and then equip it instantly because they think it is an upgrade. But if your fancy new piece of exotic gear has the wrong stats on it, it might actually be a downgrade. I know that this might sound super obvious to some of you, but this is actually a mistake that I made back in 2012. Do not repeat my mistake. So yeah, look at what stats your gear has, and don't just equip the highest rarity gear. One nice tip is that for ascended weapons and armor, you can actually change the stat with these recipes in the Mystic Forge. So if you drop a piece of rare ascended gear, but it has the wrong stats, you can totally still use it as long as you change the stats. A Wizard's Vault. In pretty much every guide I make, I talk about how amazing the Wizard's Vault is. So for this video, I'll keep it pretty short. Once you're level 80, you get access to the Wizard's Vault daily and the Wizard's Vault weekly, and doing these objectives will get you Astral Acclaim, also known as Wizard Coins. You can spend these Wizard Coins on amazing rewards, like gear, crafting materials, or even just straight up goals. Something I always see newbies get surprised by is that if you press this little cogwheel, you can pick the game modes you want objectives for. So for example, you can totally set it to only give you PvE objectives. The rewards from the Wizard's Vault are amazing and you should definitely try it out. Join a guild. Like I said before, GW2 players tend to be really friendly and helpful. Unfortunately, making friends can sometimes still be pretty hard. You're all playing together, sure, but when are you really talking to people? One of my favorite ways to actually make friends is to join a guild. In GW2, you can be in 6 guilds at a time. This means that you can totally just join a couple guilds and see if you like any of them. There are guilds for all sorts of things. Some organize events, some focus on teaching you the game, and some are just social chat rooms. If you find a guild that fits with you, the game gets so much more fun. So I honestly highly recommend just joining a couple guilds and seeing if you like one. Action Cam. Do you ever wish GW2 was less like an MMO and more like a third-person action game? If that's you, then Action Cam is for you. Action Cam is an alternative way to play the game and it's actually kinda hidden. When you activate it, your mouse becomes a crosshair and you actually aim attacks as if you're playing a third-person shooter. I personally am not the biggest fan because I'm just really used to how the game plays normally, but some people swear by Action Cam. It is especially useful if you're playing with a controller or, for example, on the Steam Deck. GW2 doesn't have official controller support, but it is a lot easier to get it to work with Action Cam. To try it out, just go into your settings, find the toggle action camera keybind under camera settings, and then just press that button. Follow the commander. Sometimes when you look at the world map, you will see this Dorito icon. This is not a Doritos promotion. This is a player that is currently tagged up as a commander. Getting a commander tag costs a couple hundred gold, but after that you can put it on whenever you want. And it basically summons players to you. Usually it is used for world bosses, meta events, bounty trains, big public activities that anyone can join. So if you see a commander tag on the map, go check it out. There's usually something exciting happening. If the commander allows it, you can also right-click the commander tag and press Join Squads. A squad is like a large party that is being led by the commander, and it lets you read the super special squad chats. Often, a commander won't just do one world boss or one event, but multiple in a row, so joining the squad is great if you want to tag along for more content. And that was 20 GW2 tips that every beginner must know. I really hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, you can always stop by my Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/Tyranity. I stream a lot of GW2 and I am always down to chat about this stuff. Also, definitely check out my Discord server. There are lots of awesome GW2 players on there that are also really helpful. Thank you so much for watching the video and I will see you next time.